Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that intro. It makes me smile every time I watch it, and then I hear the cat at the end. I love it. In fact, there's a Mama Kitty. I don't know, right there. It's Mama Kitty. Excuse me. So tonight is Cambodia. I took a poll, and Silly News won. It came in close. It was a tie between Silly News and the monthly budget. So if you voted for monthly budget, I'll do that next week. Aurora is in the house. Mumsy's in the house. Donna's in the house. Happy Hump Day. If you don't know what that means, that's Wednesday is the middle of the week. So kind of like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday being the hump day. Alrighty. So it's Silly News, and I got a lot of them for you. So we'll just, we'll get into it. A few are crime, but most of them are just, odd things and, the way things are done in Cambodia and stuff. So first up, endangered green peafowl, which is, if you didn't know, peacocks are male, and peafowl is the name for males and females together are peafowl, and then peahens and peacocks. You're watching the intro to see the cute Englishman. That's the only reason you're here. If you don't know, she's referring to Gibbo, who was in the intro, which I will also do as an outro. So if you miss it, that's okay. You can see it again. So yeah, they discovered a wild peafowl herd in Kampong Speu province. And so they'll be watching over it. So that's good news. Next up, let's see, share this tab instead. There we go. I don't know what you guys are doing in the States or in the UK or in Sweden, but here, the Ministry of Education is prohibiting the use of mobile phones in the classroom if they're not being used for academic activities. Oh, Donna, thank you for reminding everyone to hit the like button. Yes. So I know that when I am at the university, yes, they do have their phones. If there's an exam, I walk around and make sure that their phones are like zipped up in their backpacks or whatever, and their phones are not out during an exam, but otherwise they have them. And sometimes we'll do like, because I teach them how to write paragraphs in level 3, and then in level 4, that's how to write an essay. But in either of those classes, then sometimes I assign a research subject, like a famous person or a famous landmark or an animal, and then so I'll write a whole bunch of famous people, and then they have to lucky draw. They love lucky draw, which is like raffle, it's like a raffle. And and then they have to research the person or the landmark or the animal, whichever subject or topic that we're doing. And they love it. And so I give them some time, but I tell them, I said, do not write the whole sentence. Because you can tell that they don't have perfect grammar. And so when they give me a paragraph that's perfect grammar, that's not following the outline that I give them, for example, if it's famous people, it might be give me their background, then tell me something, that they're famous for. What is the importance of that to society? And so on. With animals, it's like, okay, you have to tell me about their habitat, tell me about their diet, tell me an interesting fact about them. And so when they're just, you can tell it, this is like Wikipedia or something, right? Someone copied it was penguins, and oh no, I think it was the koala bear, and it was like a children's book. They they just wrote the lines from the children's book about the koala bear, and I'm like, no. So I have to teach them how to take notes when they're doing research. They are prohibited in the States. Okay. At least in the elementary and intermediate schools. So yeah, if they're being used for academic activities, then fine, because we are, entering the digital age. Cambodia is really big on people using digital technology as much as possible and learning how to use it. To ready people for the new digital age, right? Okay, so anyway, that's what's going on here for that. Let's see, the next story. Phnom Penh cracks down on street sellers. Whoops. There we go. In parts of Phnom Penh. I actually have some more stories about this. I thought I grouped them all together. I guess this one, I missed this one as far as grouping it together. But sometimes what happens, so you see this guy's on there's no drive-throughs. Carl's Jr., when they opened, they built a drive-through. Nobody uses the drive-through because most people, they're selling on the street. You'd see this car is probably buying something from somebody. You don't need a drive-through. You just drive up, right? And you buy something from the street vendor, and then you go on your merry way. However, like when a car stops, it really affects the traffic flow. So I've maintained for many years that our traffic jams aren't so much, oh, hey, Gibbo's in the house. Welcome, Gibbo. And that the traffic problem isn't too many cars. It isn't the way the streets are designed. The streets are wide enough. It's just that when everybody double parks or stops at vendors, it causes a traffic jam, because then everybody has to, one lane has to go around them and merge it, the two lanes have to merge into one lane to go around the vendor. Yeah, that's the brakes. Yep. Let me see if there's any more pictures. No. So that's that. Action. Oh, whoops. Yeah. Okay. I'm sharing the next one. Yep. Oh, and okay. Action demanded over vendors encroaching on public sidewalks around the National Children's Hospital. So again, here, they've actually built out their shops on the sidewalk. So there's no sidewalks for people to walk on. And I think that there's been enough international pressure. And well, okay, Siem Reap in the north where Angkor Wat is, they actually redid the streets and everything. It took a couple of years, but they started it right before COVID. So a lot of the work was being done during COVID when there wasn't a lot of tourists. So they were able to complete all these sidewalks. And I think that they've seen the reaction from both, residents and Cambodians that live here, as well as tourists and expats and everybody, how much they love having functional sidewalks. So I think that maybe that is like influencing them, because they're really big on tourism. So they understand by what happened in Siem Reap that maybe they should do something about Phnom Penh. It's been talked about forever. But one of the things, in America, for example, hey, Adam, welcome. Finally catching a live instead of watching on replay. Welcome. So in America, when you own a property, there's a certain easement that belongs to the public, right? So your property doesn't really go all the way out to the middle of the road, right? You've got a sidewalk, you've got your lawn, then you got your house. But there's no public easement recognized in the land law. That homeowner owns everything, the land, all the way to the curb of the street, right? So you end up having these houses that they call shop houses, and people are either they're selling things like here, like in this picture, or at night they're using it as a garage. So they pull their car in, or they just pull their car in front of their house, and so it's on that sidewalk area, right? And they have ownership of it in a sense, but they're trying to change the mindset now, and so there's efforts being done to clear all this out. All of this is built up on what would be a sidewalk, okay? And then even out, you got this guy with his steam buns in a cart, way out into the street, and all this stuff here is in the street. The sidewalk is kind of about where this countertop is. That would be the edge of the sidewalk. Everything in front of it is in the street. You're missing Zach? Yeah, he doesn't usually come to Cambodia. He comes to music, he comes to crosswords, and sometimes he comes to the trivia. But he's not usually here for Cambodia. All right, so let me see if there's any more pictures. Yeah, okay. Here, maybe you can see how a lot more all of this is like in the street. You can't even see where the curb is. That's the same picture again. And so see here also, this guy's on his motorcycle, but you can see these umbrellas here that are people set up. Maybe they're selling food for you to sit down and eat, or if you just buy it on the way. But most people don't just walk up. Most people are on a motorcycle or in a car, and so it really affects traffic. And of course, all these cars are parked where there would be a sidewalk too. So, parking is kind of an issue. And so, see, even though these guys are all like on motorcycles, they got wheels on their carts and stuff, but they're still parked here on the street. And so it really as a city planner, you have these streets on paper that should be wide enough for all the vehicles, and yet they're in reality they're a lot smaller. Okay. Frank grows up, he wants to be a coconut vendor like that. Well, come on over. You can sell coconuts. Okay, so we have a woman that was seriously injured in a sewage truck smash. So this is, they pump sewage into this tank. Of course, it's on its side. And what I thought was kind of interesting is the way that this story unfolds. It's pretty interesting. So it says here that before the incident, there was a white car driven by a Chinese man traveling on the road. And when that car arrived at this place, at the scene, right, there was a checkpoint. You can see all these are police officers, right? So they had a checkpoint set up, right? The car slowed down and stopped for the checkpoint. But then this blue sewage truck was driven by a man and two other men in uniform, whatever kind of uniform, I don't know, just security uniforms or what, I don't know. It was seen coming from behind, and it swerved. The truck swerved to avoid hitting the back of the car, but I think it still hit it and caused the car to move forward several meters. And then the Korean sewage pump car or truck overturned, hit two police cars that were stopped on the sidewalk, then hit another motorcycle, causing damage and causing a woman to be seriously injured and taken to the emergency room immediately. The driver of the car fled, of course, even though there were all the two other men that were in uniforms, you know, what kind of uniforms, were arrested by police at the scene. So yeah, that was, I thought that was kind of interesting. So next up, I'll wait for this to load. There we go. Ratnakiri schools teach Jarai. I guess it's called Jarai. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Oh, sorry. There we go. So if we think back in American history and a lot of countries that had, even European countries that had colonies and things, Australia also, to the Aboriginals, you have a lot of cases where the indigenous people of the land are often, sometimes taken and forced to learn English or whatever language, but they're kind of seen as savages and that they need to be educated, right? Well, Cambodia has a lot of respect for culture, so they are not doing that here. And the Ministry of Education is adopting their language. So of course, like in California, they have bilingual programs in schools that are normally English and Spanish, right? But here, so they'll have like some bilingual learning for this tribe, for these indigenous people. Ratnakiri is a province in Cambodia. It's kind of in the mountains. They have their distinct culture. So yeah, that's nice, and then just some details about it. But and this represents the rice baskets that they would normally they'd collect, or they collect firewood, they collect medicinal herbs and things, but they would wear that basket like a backpack, and but this is just a giant one to represent them, like the Swedish. Did the Swedish do that too? Okay, so thought this was interesting. It doesn't happen every day. 12,000 people attended a Christian festival called the Love Siem Reap Festival. And I don't know if you recognize this picture. Let me make sure it's showing for you. Oh, there goes an ad. Let's get rid of that. But that's Franklin Graham. That's Billy Graham's son. Was here in Cambodia to do a festival. And so here's like a picture from behind. You can see how large the crowd is that they had set up. They did this at the old airport because Siem Reap got a new airport. And so they did this at the old airport. They called Jesus Preah Yesu. And so, yeah, Franklin Graham was here. They are praying. There's the Cambodians, Christian. So Buddhism is the national religion. Okay, there's no separation of church and state in Cambodia. That's an American thing. All right. So Buddhism is the national religion. However, they are very tolerant of other religions. They're welcome. There's Muslim, there's Christian, there's Catholic. Christian is an evangelical. There's Catholic. There's Hindu. you know, there's several religions here, but the majority, like I think it's like 90% are Buddhist, or at least identify as Buddhist. Um, they had musicians. My gosh, that looks like my friend Tina Frank. I haven't seen her in years. She moved to Battambang. I wonder if that's her. She's German. She's been in Cambodia as long as I have. We both moved here around the same time. So yeah, this is something that you don't see every day. So I thought I would share it with you. We had an interpreter. Okay. Cambodia should colonize Ireland. Anything would be better than the British. I think Ireland's doing good on their own. Adam says it's great they're trying to preserve the indigenous languages. Absolutely. I like Ireland. Okay, so, oops, wait. Sorry. Okay, we always love these stories back when we were doing the true crime Cambodia. So, but it's kind of silly in a way. So I thought I would share this with young yobs. they love saying the word yobs in Khmer times. Were chastised for anarchic behavior and taught respect for authority. So here they are. They've shaved their heads. They're making them do sit-ups and various calisthenics. So this group of teenage louts learned a lesson in respect after they were made to undergo physical jerks as a restitution for their yobbish actions. So there was a hotline that received a call from a citizen to report a request for intervention because young gangsters had opened fire and clashed anarchically. Kampong Speu province. Here they are getting their, see all the hair on the ground? They're all getting their heads shaved. I love that it's not like, everything's not like in America, you know, the whole prison system and jails, they get money for the prisoners that they have. So they want people to go to prison, right? Everything's about going to jail and going to prison, throw away the key. How they're having to duck walk. I wish there was video of that. That'd be funny. But here, no, they find alternatives. So they're having to do some work around the police station. Oh, they have to bow down and apologize to their parents. See, you know, I mean, there's alternatives. There's alternatives to jail. So they're being punished. And there we go. So we love seeing these stories. There they all kneeling to their parents to say that they're sorry. Oh, they're having to clean up rake the leaves, do push-ups, do the duck walk again. There they are cleaning up. So that's good. Put them to use. Put them to use. It's good. Good. I love it. I love it. You know, and to see Cambodia like this. Okay. Next up. I think in America and Europe, we've had trains for so long that everybody is, you know, I mean, there's so much government control and in a good way with safety at railroad crossings and stuff. But not so much in Cambodia. For so many years, the trains weren't operating, and now they're running again. And this one actually has a barrier that it can put down. A lot of intersections don't. They just have the sign like this. And so there have been some accidents. No pictures about that, but anyway, they're going to be improving railroad crossings. So that's good. That's a good positive. positive thing that's happening. Aurora says she's taking notes for ideas for punishments for Frank, except for the head shaving. He already doesn't have hair. Good. Glad to help you out. No, this isn't happy about the fact that this egg vendor got killed, but I thought you might be interested in seeing how the motorcycle had these baskets, and then you see all the egg trays. Looks like he was finished selling, maybe. 16 years old. I read the story. Sad. It was sad. And I don't know. He got hit from. He was slammed into by a drunk government official driving a luxury car. And did they arrest the guy? The car was driven by a 55-year-old official of the Ministry of Public Works and Transport. He was working at the vehicle weighing station. Killed instantly. Yeah, he was the 16-year-old was killed instantly. Says that he was driving under the influence of alcohol. The driver of the car has been detained by the authorities. Good. So this is a case where he probably will go to jail. You know, but sometimes even whether it's a death or just an injury, sometimes the person that's at fault actually just pays money in more of a restitution way without involving the courts. You know, the police will make a report and everything will be done fairly. But yeah, so a lot of people think that that's corruption, but really it's just a faster way of restitution and justice, in my opinion. I mean, why go to court to have a civil lawsuit to get money when the person's just going to give you the money without going to court and waiting? The duck walk is a good one, I know. Okay, next up. Oh, this was interesting. So the Ministry of Labor noticed that there's this video of this young man that was going on social media, probably Facebook, maybe TikTok. I don't know which one. And so I guess this is a screenshot from the video. He's really sad because he came to Phnom Penh to look for a job and he can't find a job. Okay. So he's like really sad, probably thinking about jumping off a bridge, which thankfully he did not do. And so the ministry has put the word out to contact him. I mean, to contact the ministry, and they will find him a job. And if he doesn't have skills for a job, they will give him training for skills to get a job. Vocational training. They will provide vocational training. And he said, not only him, but if there's any young people that are feeling like him, that they can contact the ministry, and they will assist in helping them find a job, or get vocational training first, and then also help them get the job. But they're really putting the word out. Find out who this guy is. Have him come to us. We will help him. So, that's good. Social media isn't always, bad. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of times governments are afraid of social media, but they're having good actions and taking good measures and steps. Join forces. Frank, sell the Adam and Gibbo should join forces. One will sell the coconuts, and then Frank can sell the coconuts, and Adam will sell the potatoes. And and you can hire this guy. So next up, we're at 9:30 and I'm not halfway through, so I'll try to lessen my commentary and go through them faster. This, I thought it was interesting. I'm not going to go through all the details of that. 93 suspects in a nationwide gang and gambling crackdown. This is just one picture of one of the points of crackdown, but there are many. And you can see the roosters on this table. So anytime there's the police arrest somebody, they'll make them stand with either their weapon or what they stole, whatever their criminal activity was, the proof of it, they have to stand for a picture by the police for like documentation. And so they've confiscated or impounded their motorcycles. And then they've also impounded the roosters that were used for cockfighting. So good that they're mama kitties. Just trying to get some love. Okay, there we go. And for anybody who likes cruising, if you ever watch Lolita Loco or Lolita something. The Westerdam has been coming back. Now, the Westerdam during COVID, the Westerdam is the ship that they were in the Pacific. I don't know if they were around. I think they were around Japan, and I'm not even sure if anybody had COVID on the ship. Somebody tested positive, and then they were like quarantined, or there might not have even been anybody on the ship. I don't think there was anybody with COVID on the ship, but everyone was afraid of COVID. And so nobody would let it dock. So they were running low on their food supplies. They went to from Japan to Hong Kong to Vietnam, whatever. Nobody was letting them dock anywhere. And they needed supplies and they needed assistance. And so Cambodia said, come here, we'll let you dock. And they did, and the people were so excited. They were able to get off the ship, and their respective countries had chartered planes for them to go back to their home countries. And the traveling fool is in the house. And so now the Westerdam comes back quite often. Cambodia is on the cruise radar. So if you like cruising, consider finding a cruise that will come to Cambodia. Of course, they just stopped for one day in Sihanoukville, and there's lots of tour operators that are connected with the port, so people can book their excursions and go to a village or go to Bulkhor Mountain or go to the crab market. There's lots of things that you can do as a day trip. You can go to the pepper farms. Gibbo says, Aurora's cheating on me. She says, I'm not. What? I roll. Okay. Next up. My computer's a little slow. All right. Okay, this I thought was pretty. So CMAC is the mine clearance organization, and so they're using a magnetic technology to clear those cluster munitions that Thailand dropped, from their bombers. And so here you can see this big crane type of thing with this magnet that's able to pick up the bombs. So that I thought that was pretty interesting. A lot of times we have dogs, we have rats, we have people that work in mine clearance. But yeah, they're getting all these things. So I thought, well, gee, that's new. So we're saying, okay. Next up. There we go. Tiger cubs. So this doesn't happen every day, and maybe only in Cambodia. So somebody, a philanthropist, I didn't read the story yet, was raising tiger cubs, and they've been handed over to the zoo. It's actually more of a rescue center than, it kind of acts as a zoo as well. People can come visit, but they provide like rescue and release, rehabilitation of wild animals. It's called Phnom Penh Wildlife Center. You can go there Some of the animals that are unable to be released back into the wild are kept there, so that functions like a zoo. But if they're able to be rehabilitated and released, then that's what they do. Phnom Penh. It's a male-female pair. They were bought abroad and raised privately. So this philanthropist was in Mondulkiri, which is also in the mountains. Okay, he's unidentified. Unidentified. It's probably Chinese. And so there was a reminder to the public not to capture, raise, trade, or harm wildlife. You know, that they're part of the natural resources of Cambodia. And so it's a shared wealth of the nation and needs to be, you know, these animals need to be preserved. Because there's a lot of the Chinese medicine stuff that involves wildlife. So there's that. Are there any English-speaking radio stations in Cambodia? I did, but that radio station's not around anymore. There was one called Love FM that spoke in English and Khmer. Yeah, the radio station I worked for was called Radio 1, which I guess is like similar in England. In the UK, they had a Radio 1, and so it was kind of named after, you know, modeled after that. But yeah, I loved working there. It was really good. But I don't know if there are any other English speaking radio stations. This is an interesting story. Don't hear this every day. A resilient mother cycled on a bicycle 20 kilometers alone in order to give birth because there was no clinic or maternity or hospital or anything. She had to go 20 kilometers. They're in good health. She's in poverty and lives alone and because she is separated from her husband. She currently works as a scavenger to make a living. That's what they call people who recycle. So you go around and you collect the plastic bottles and cardboard and things like that. But for some reason, they've picked the word scavenger to call the people that are collecting recyclables. So she was about to give birth, so she rode her bicycle to the hospital. She thought she couldn't ride her bike, but she thought, however far the hospital was, she thought she couldn't ride that far, so she went to this health center, some kind of clinic that was on the way to the hospital. You know, so the director of that health center where she went informed local authorities, hey, you have to provide support for the difficulties, you know, of this woman. So they helped her with her journey back home. They helped take her home and stuff. So congratulations on the new baby. What is the Khmer word for scavenger? I don't know. I can find out for you though. Let's see, Google Translate. Khmer, English to Khmer. Scavenger. Okay. Anuk Ryusa et Che. Et Chai. Anek Ryu et Chai. Something like that. That's tough. That's tough. You asked too many questions. No problem. No problem. I don't mind. Okay, next story. Let's see. I spent a long time scrolling through all the news to find all these stories. This was weird. Apparently, amid social media storm, the Ministry of Transport is confirming that ki.ki.lo license plates are unauthorized. So apparently, there's a lot of people, Kiki Lu. Here it's Lu, not Lo. Somebody's making these license plates and putting them on instead of getting their real license plates. So they are definitely, the Ministry of Public Works has confirmed that they are unauthorized. It's fake. It's not in the system. So if you see a motorcycle, so he's telling the traffic police, if you see a motorcycle with these license plates, stop it and impound it immediately. So who thought of that? I don't know. Oops, sorry. Let's see. Just move on to the next one. Okay, so I just grabbed this story because I know that in Minneapolis and Portland and across the United States, there's such a problem with immigration and ICE. And then also in Europe, Europe has a big problem with immigration. And so a lot of these call centers and scam centers are being raided. Let me check. I'm not sure who this is. Hello. Oops. Some kind of phone call. Could be my son. You never know. He could be in trouble. It's trying to connect, and it's not connecting. And so anyway, there were a lot of Chinese citizens that were camping. This is the Chinese embassy. So for days, they've been camping outside of the embassy. And like when you're in line for tickets someplace, they just weren't leaving. They were just camping all over the sidewalks. So Cambodia figured, okay, we have the new airport. So the old airport isn't being used right now. So they bust them all out to the old airport to house them there, kind of like detention at the old airport. Okay. Okay. And so then there was another one. I think this next story, I think I grouped these two together. So the Phnom Penh district is going to start inspecting places where foreigners reside to check their visas and stuff and to make sure they're not overstayed. So berets, I live in a beret. It's a gated community, basically. Okay, condos, hotels, guest houses. They're going to start going door to door and making sure who's living in them. So if you're on overstay, you better hurry up and get that fixed. So here's another cockfighting situation where they were arrested. I don't think, is that the only picture? No, there's some more. So this was their cockfighting ring. I guess they would use the scale to weigh the roosters. And then I guess this is water. I don't know. And there's a cooking pot here or something. I don't know. Do they do something with boiling water? I don't know. And so again, here's the picture with all the evidence, like they always do. So this is called trying to, let's see if it connects this time. Hello? Ah, James, it is you. I'm live streaming right now. Yeah. For how much? You need to call me back like in 30 minutes, okay? Call me back in 30 minutes. James, I'm live streaming right now. Sorry about that. Let me see what your comments are before I start on this one. Okay, no new comments. That's Cambodia for you. Okay. So this is a good story. Forbes magazine is urging its readers to visit the underrated Cambodia for the great Southeast Asian food without the crowds. This is a picture of the famous amok dish. It's usually fish amok. I don't particularly care for fish, so I usually get chicken amok. And so, yeah, there you can go to Forbes if you're interested in that. But hey, getting some kudos there, so that's nice. And then, oh, this is not good. You know, fire safety is like super important. And apparently, the former village chief was burning incense and started a fire. Yeah, and there's our fire trucks. One of the fire trucks. Looks like they were able to put it out before it like burned the whole house down. The villagers tried to use fire extinguishers. They had different villagers had fire extinguishers, so they all came with those to try and put out the fire, but it was not enough to put it out. So then 2 fire engines went to the scene. Yeah. And then there was another fire. I just thought that I didn't read the story, but I thought the headline was silly. So a massive Phnom Penh fire was caused by a bickering couple. So yeah, this picture you can see that's a pretty bad fire. It destroyed a house. It was set after the argument between the husband and wife. There you've got the firefighters and even villagers helping. Does it say? So it was an abandoned house that caught fire. Yeah. Let's see. No more comments. Oh, did I not share that? Oh, sorry. Here's the pictures of that fire that I was saying. I'm sorry. I thought it's got to happen at least once, right? The bickering couple fire. Okay. So here's the other stories that I have grouped together about them cleaning up. So you can see here's the house back here, and this should be a sidewalk this much. And normally people, they'll park their cars there, whatever, or they'll set up a shop. Here they've actually built walls to extend, and they've got these plants out here. So they're being told that they've got to move things here. This is the shop here, and all of this is out on the sidewalk. So there's, they've got everything they're selling. This is an upholstery shop. If I need my motorcycle seat reupholstered, I go to one of these shops. They can make furniture. They can custom make it in any colors. Here's another shop. You see, they've got everything out in front and parking, as well. So the city officials were going around to get people to clear their sidewalks. So even here you can see if this top part here of the building, And then they've got the awnings coming out. Well, that awning, all these awnings where they're selling things underneath the awnings, that's actually sidewalk. So, yeah, clearing the streets, which leads us to over a couple of weeks, like all I'll show you the area that these vendors are upset about. Okay. They were told that they had to stop selling, and this is mostly vegetables, meats and vegetables, fruits, vegetables, meats, kind of wholesale. And I'll show you some pictures about that. Well, they did. It was causing a big traffic problem. Okay. Anytime I had to go down the street in this area, it's a huge, huge traffic problem because of how much of the street they were in. If you have like 3 lanes, you have 2 car lanes and a motorcycle lane, making 3 lanes. There would only be enough room for single file for the cars to go through here. Okay. In this area. And so, the government built a new market, a new place for them to have the market. And so they're telling everybody, you got to like clean up and move to the market and sell inside the market. And they're like, no, they don't want to. They want to stay on the street. And so look at this protest that they did. And even the city buses couldn't get through, and they've got a schedule to keep. And these are the city officials. And here they all are blocking this main. And you can see the three lanes I was talking about. There's a car lane, and a motorcycle lane, right? And normally they are all the way in these 2 side lanes, and only the center lane is the only one where you can get through, right? And so this was their little protest that they had, saying you can't make us move. They finally cleared everybody, and and just talked to them and tried to educate them that, hey, you guys got to move to the market. You can't stay on the street. Okay. So, oh my God, I didn't hit share. I'm sorry. I'll go over the story, so I'll show you the pictures. Okay, here they are protesting in the street, and they've got the whole street blocked. This is the picture I was showing you with the car lane, the motorcycle lane, and they usually, when they're selling, they're taking up 2 lanes, and their cars going through only have 1 lane. But here's their protest. Here's where they're being educated. Okay. So now I'm going to show you where this is. These are your comments. Good morning. Hey, Stargazer. I hope I didn't, close the ad. I know. Sorry. I'm sure I did already. I hope no fires involve expats. I can't wait to visit Cambodia this year if all things pan out. Great. Look me up when you get here. So this is the street right here where they go all the way around this little corner and everything. And then this is an existing market. And here, I'll show you where the new market, all this land here that was like empty, right? This is, I believe, where they part of this. Now, maybe not the whole thing, but part of this area is where they built the new market. So they don't want to move. Here, I'll just go out a little bit. So they don't want to move from here to here, right? 1 block, 2 blocks. Something, okay. They don't want to move from here to here. Now, let me zoom in on this. This is the existing market. This is a theater. In fact, I used to hate when events were at this theater. It's a beautiful theater, but it was so hard to get in for the parking at this theater because of all the vendors, right? So let me zoom in and show you. This is all road. Right? So you can see here's the building, and you see all these umbrellas. The umbrellas are in the road. right? Then you can see the cars here. You've got 2 lanes of cars, but now they're having to merge over into like a single lane. You can't have 2 cars get by here because they are so far into the road. And all of this should be road, but it's solid umbrellas, right? But not only are on this side, but in the evenings they're also on this on the other side, right? On this side, all the way a couple blocks down to this intersection. It gets all at night, it gets completely full of people selling, because pretty much wholesale. Look, even here along the side, it's like umbrellas, umbrellas, umbrellas. Okay. All right. So now I've got some pictures. So here's an example. You can see here's the building. And when I say wholesale, you see it's like the farmers bring in the wholesale to sell to the so if you own a restaurant or a hotel or something, you're coming here at night to buy all your food. But they're here during the day, but at night it's worse. Okay. This is the road. This is the road I just showed you. And you can see 2 lanes are complete, and this is all they have, 1 lane for traffic to move, because 2 lanes are solid, goods. I got another picture. This is it in the daytime. That area that I showed you that had all of the I said, look at all this is solid umbrellas. These are the umbrellas on the ground, and this is the road. So they get, not only do you have the umbrellas, but then you get the baskets and everybody that's moved out into the road. Then here's another one at night. There's the building. All this is out into the road. The sidewalk would be like, here's an awning right here. So this would be the sidewalk here. Or like this section of boxes, looks like bottles of water. That would be the sidewalk. From here out is the street. Okay. This is what it's like. And so they were protesting that they wouldn't have to move. Anyway, I got 2 more stories and we're done. And I thought I'd do some happy stories. The police found a camera or a camera. They found a camera at Angkor Wat, and then they were able to find the person it belonged to and return it. So, sometimes people aren't happy with the way with the way police do things here. I know there was a video about this guy that was in a fight and he didn't feel like the police helped him enough, and maybe they didn't, but it's just kind of different how they work here. But it's not all bad. They do good things too. So they reunited this lady with her camera. So that's good. And also there's a pilot project to help make workers' vehicles safer. So people who work in factories, mostly women, but some men also, they ride in these trucks. So it's like a big pickup truck. Not a small pickup truck, but like a commercial sized truck, but it's open like a pickup truck. They didn't used to have these bars. Okay. So then if it like rolled over, people would like get thrown out. And so now at least they have a way that people can hold on to something like on a subway or whatever, because they were just packed in there, And so this is how factory workers would be taken to work every day and taken home. And most of the time it's fine, but when there's an accident, it's bad. There's a lot of deaths. And not to mention, this is not comfortable. If it's hot season, it's hot. If it's rainy season, you might be getting wet. I don't know, maybe they might put a tarp over this. But they're trying to get more like a bus system, so that people are in minivans or buses and in proper transportation. So the government is doing efforts to improve the lives of Cambodians. Need to stay home. Only an experienced and brave moped driver would attempt driving there. Yeah, I drove a car for 5 years before I got a motorcycle. And even then, I was like really shy and very cautious on the motorcycle. Now I kind of zip around. I'm still like a defensive driver. I'm constantly looking and what's going on. But I understand how the traffic moves and how it flows. So it's not scary in that aspect. But yeah, I have a motorcycle and I get around on it. And there's one time just recently, like my brakes weren't adjusted right. I went and I got them like they bled. You hear bleed the brakes, right? The guy was like bleeding the brakes and stuff, and he did all kinds of adjustments and whatever, and he fixed it. But the handlebars, when I pull the handlebars all the way, it wasn't like enough to stop the motorcycle. And I'm not just talking about like if you're going fast, you're going too fast and that's why you can't stop it. No. I mean, it's like the handlebars and the brakes, they weren't adjusted right. Do they ever check the transports for trafficking victims? Probably not, because they're going right from the factory to people's, like, usually factory workers have some kind of housing complex that they're living in. So they're transporting from one. So they're only the workers, But yeah. Most factories, I think, there's a lot of labor laws here. Maybe I could get some notes on the labor laws and do a show on that. And because other than the fact that it kind of freaks people out when it's like the minimum wage for these factory workers is about $220 a month. And that's like, what? That's nothing. Well, that's why you're able to go buy clothes in America that say made in Cambodia, because they're getting paid $200 a month. But that's a living wage here, so it's not like below poverty. That's a living wage, especially when you consider a lot of times people work together. Families have more than one person working in them and stuff, and they pool the money together. Anyway, I don't remember what I was saying right before that. It's okay. My driving. So I was going to tell you my brakes, right? My brakes weren't really stopping. And so I was in traffic. And I was at a roundabout, the really, really busy roundabout. And there was a car. I was going around behind a car, but the car stopped. And it was like, I could not turn away because I would have like turned into somebody else or if I can't see if there's a vehicle, then I'm not going to turn. Right. I turn my head and I look and I make sure if it's clear before I change a lane or something. So for whatever reason, I couldn't avoid hitting the back of this car. But everything was going really slow. I mean, I was probably going 5 miles an hour. Okay. But I knew that I was going to bump into this car, and maybe I was 10 miles an hour. I don't know, but it was slow. But it was enough that when I bumped into the car, my motorcycle fell over. Right. And, but my biggest fear is that, like, if you do fall over, like maybe you even just hit a pothole and you fall over, that somebody coming behind you is going to run you over. That's that's what I'm most concerned about. But I fell over, and then like everybody, the car stopped, the driver got out, several other motorcycle drivers stopped and got out and helped me get up and everything. But the motorcycle was fine. The car was fine. I was fine. So everybody just went on their way. That was it. No money, no nothing, no, but because I hit him basically, right? But his car wasn't damaged. I wasn't injured because I could have said, "Oh, my arm! Oh no! You have to pay me money because you stopped. You stopped in front of me and I couldn't. So, no, nobody's doing any of that. It's like, okay, everybody's all right. Just go on your merry way." So that's it. So yeah, there is dangers. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh yeah, it's perfect. But okay, so your poll. Thank you for answering my poll. That's it for the show. I hope that it was informative and entertaining with all the different stories that I chose. Next week I will do, because the second runner-up in the poll was, what are my real monthly expenses? So I will prepare an Excel sheet, and not only will I look at the monthly expenses, but I'll look at things that are annual, that happen annually, like paying for your visa. If you need a health checkup, an annual health checkup. If you have glasses, you need to get glasses. Things like that that come up. So yeah, how much do you really spend living here? I'm going to do that next week. Adam says he really enjoys the videos. Thank you so much. Can't wait to visit Cambodia soon. Absolutely. Look me up when you're here. Mumsy says, glad you're okay. I know. I didn't say anything when it happened because, it was a nothing burger. So hugs, everyone. Later. Hey, before you run away, let me tell you that love transcends time and space. So wherever and whenever you're watching this, I love you. So thank you so much. Tomorrow will be some kind of trivia games. So join me for that. Same bat time, same bat channel. And if you haven't seen the intro is also my outro. So enjoy the outro. And until the next time, I'll catch you later.